Diocese decided we needed another parish in this area, and they assigned Nick as the pastor of the new parish. We had no property, nothing. They did have a lot on, I forget what street.
Auburn Lane.
Auburn Lane. There was a lot that
They thought
they'd build the church there. And in the meantime, they decided to start up the parish, and Nick asked for volunteers from within the St. Thomas More area that was being cut off, and that would have home masses so he could introduce the new parish. And we wound up doing the first home mass. We had, yes, for the neighbors. We had a ton of children in there. There were over 60 people in our house. And the next day, our middle daughter made her first communion at that home mass. And the next day, that daughter broke out in chicken pox. So I had to call all the families and say, and each of our children broke out with chicken pox exactly 2.5 weeks apart. My summer was
Summer of chicken pox.
the summer of chicken pox.
I worked here as an employee for 11 years as maintenance. Now, I was maintenance of all this property, and the academy over here down the street, we bought that property when Father Lefebvre was pastor, and I was here. We bought it, and I maintained all of those grounds. And that was before, self-propelled lawnmowers. I want to mention Martin Brignac, a long-time parishioner who loves his church. Did a lot of the cross. He did the cross in the church, and a lot of the little tables and podiums. He was instrumental in getting that baptismal fount kept running, fixed the door. He was everywhere. He was just a good Samaritan. Lynn Guidry, a name, he's still a parishioner. Lynn Guidry and his wife, I see him at church. They were original. They owned this property. The church bought the property from the Guidry family. And there was a swimming pool. We were the only parish in the diocese that had a swimming pool.
When the parish started, they were renting a house on Auburn Lane, for the rectory parish thing. And Nick said to me, Joan, he says, I think I'm going to need a part-time secretary. Do you have any money in mind? I said, well, Diane Kirsch just retired from her job. She might have time to help you out part-time. And so he talked to Diane. She said, I could do that part-time. And she turned out as the parish administrator until Sue Bro came along and relieved her.
The Anglicans, Hugo and Zola and their family. Remember Ursula, the organist, for 40-something years. Mary Benson, an unsung single lady who's been a part of this church from the beginning. She was director of education, religious education at the new building over there, and still is a minister. Bobby and Sue Bro. Sue Bro and I worked with Sue. She was the manager. She ran the whole show. Damon and Ruby Casemore, the Casemore family, were instrumental from the beginning. There was a core group. Ed Hiller and Thora Hiller, you know that name. Jay and Barbara Cephalou. Jay is still on the building committee. Jay's a good friend of mine, and we go at each other. But he's a great guy. Earl and Ethel Claiborne were very active. I see Steve and Eileen Collins. Eileen is still a parishioner that Steve passed away. Buck Carbon on the building committee for years and years, and he was an usher, a dedicated usher, and his wife. I've got Jerry and Clara Curtis. Jerry was that all the time you call him, he'd come and we'd change all the lights on the lift. But Jerry's still active as a minister, Jerry. Nikki and Edie DeMaio, and Leo and Shirley Dronette, they were the best. They were the chairman of the parish fairs for years. Unpretentious couple. Shirley was active, and you can't say enough about Leo and Shirley. Joan. David and Debbie Fasikas volunteered. David, very skilled guy. Pat Goday. Pat Goday she's still around, kind of like us. Sabrina Heltz, I've been a member of the staff for a while. Renee Lindsay, school teacher for 30-something years in public school, and was a part-time staffer over here at St. Patrick. Philip Marino took care of the candles in the chapel every day. He was also a volunteer in the plumbing business. Juan and Kathleen Morales. Juan is still an usher here every Sunday at 9:30, all the time. Sabrina Peck was on staff. John and Liz Ricca, good people here. And Jeff Say, GEOF, was a financial advisor for the parish. He was in the finance for years and years and years, and just recently retired a few years ago. And my good friend Lisa Trahan, who's religious head. I don't know where Lisa is today. I've lost track of her, but there's so many. Jim Kaz, who's an usher, Jim, still loves St. Patrick. He's kind of stepped back a little bit from the building committee, I think, but he's still a voice. So many good people. So many good people.
Oh, it's made an awesome impact on my life. Once the parish started, I was involved, and it was a part of everything, the communions, the confirmations.
The altar boys.
I was in charge of the altar servers. Actually, I was the first sacristan because we didn't have the parish was not established. And Nick said, do you have any experience? I said, well, I was in high school. I was a sacristan. I don't know if that counts, but okay. So I got that ministry started. And then when we moved into the church and had this enormous crucifix that weighed, 150 pounds or something, we couldn't have the altar servers bring it in.
The cross?
Yes.
Carrying the cross?
Yes.
It was huge.
Yes, it was enormous. So we had a separate group called the cross bearers. So we had the servers were a certain age group, and then like 15 plus, the young adult age. Anybody who was strong enough to carry that in. It had bells, and you've probably seen it stored here somewhere, the bells. And so the idea was to ring that so that when it came down the aisle, the little bells on it rang.
Paris is changing. It's changed. I mean, everything changes, and we know that. That can't stay the same. I don't know. So many good people. What am I doing? And, it's like your child. You nurture it, and you don't want to let it go, and you don't want it to change. But you have to accept change. I just love this place.